We are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I am Vince.
And we are filming today at the FreeCon in Lawrence, Kansas.
Indeed we are.
And we thought it would be appropriate to... Yeah, right. You know where you are? Are you good?
Getting my orients.
We thought it would... Your orients?
Getting oriented.
Right. We thought it would be appropriate to talk about collecting things at a comic book convention. Talk about what we collect, what we do when we go to comic conventions like this one, and what we like to look for while we're here. Now, Vince, primarily, how do you collect? First of all, let's talk about comics. Do you see yourself more as a reader or a collector?
Both, but I don't necessarily...
No, but more of.
I try to be a reader, I'll say that. Mainly because I don't think there's any reason to collect something that you don't intend to utilize in some fashion. Because I think a collection should support your overall knowledge.
Sure.
My opinion.
As far as comics go.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're collecting something that's just there to look at.
I collect statues and I make sure I read every one.
Right. Important. That's important. I used to be more of a collector. I'd say now I'm kind of split, like 60-40. I'm still more of a collector, but I read a lot more now than I used to. Vince will tell you, I mean, I've got, nearly 4,000 comics, and I haven't read anything like all of them. I talk about that all the time. I've got tons of comics that I just collected because, for various reasons, I thought the covers looked cool, or I used to collect just based on covers. Like, that's a cool cover, I'm gonna buy that one.
In your youth?
Yeah.
That makes sense, though. I mean, I think kids are more visually driven than adults.
I'd say up through junior high school. It wasn't until high school that I was being really careful about what exactly it was I was collecting.
I think that's a fair thing, though. Growing up, you need to get into comics somehow, and if a cover does it, then by God, why not?
That's why I want covers to look cool. You know what I mean? That's why. And sometimes you'll have covers that don't actually have anything to do with what's in the book, and I don't care if they look cool.
Yes.
Well, sometimes I care. Anyway, so I don't know. That's my thing with comics. So when you go to conventions, you carry a list around.
Yeah. In fact, I have it there, but I'm not going to pull it out because it's paper. Anyway,
It's down there.
I have a list. It's color-coded now.
It's color-coded?
Yes.
Vince is the most organized person I know. He's the most organized geek I know. And he's got a really clean apartment.
I try. Hey, when you work out as much as I do, you just gotta, because that'd be kind of fun.
You were like that even before you were working out.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I have a list. What I do is I'll hit all the quarter comics, all the 50-cent comics, and then I start looking for things that are a little more expensive. And and I'll look for all the 50% off stuff. I mean, I look for things that are on sale. Now, the problem with that result, and the thing that I'm dealing with now, is it makes it hard to be a reader, because you end up having giant gaps.
Yeah.
Because you'll have issues 1 through 5, and then 24, and 16, and 105.
And see, I got used to that when I was a kid, because I just bought covers that looked cool, so I'd finish an issue, and I'd be like, what happens next? I don't care, I'll just read something else. I'm not like that anymore.
See, I didn't really collect comics when I was a kid. I collected a few things, but it was more Ninja Turtle toys.
I don't buy nearly as many single issues at conventions these days. I like wasting time listening to conventions.
See, that was always half the fun for me.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten to the point that looking through the 50-cent boxes is almost pointless.
I become more of a gap filler now, because I do have some of the series where I've got a run and then a gap and then another run, and so like I'll just try to gap fill now. So, being a seasoned collector, I have things that I feel like I need, but I think I need this to fill these gaps. So, I'm
Necessary for survival.
I'm trying to fit right. I'm trying to finish off Nightfall, because I'm missing some Nightfall, and I'm trying to, there's some gaps I have here and there for some other things, for the spawns that I cared about, but still I still have a gap or two here and there for things like that. But let's move on then to figures. How do you collect figures? Now, do you ever go for a full run of a figure?
No.
I've never done that.
The only thing that I collect along the way of figures are things that I find interesting.
So like I used to do covers.
And Two-Face. So I have my Two-Face collection that you guys so interestingly see in the background of some of our videos.
Right.
But for a lot of the toys, I'll say, I like that character, I should have at least one of those. So there's things that I intend to buy at some point, like Shazam, or Captain Marvel. I feel that I need one of those.
What I do with collectibles, and specifically action figures, I don't open figures anymore. I keep them in the boxes, and I think you mostly do that too, right? And So I mostly collect things that look good in my apartment. So my place, I decorate. My wife and I decorate in our collectibles for the most part. We have a mix of stuff, you know. So we have other things, but you know, we have some other like pictures and framed pictures and things that are collectibles. But for the most part, that's what we like to decorate in. And so I don't go for full lines. I don't go for necessarily rare things. I do things that are conversation pieces, things that somebody will walk up and go, "Ooh, that's awesome." And so,
case in point, the first appearance of Punisher is on his walls, and he hasn't read it.
That's true. That's true. But I do this with action figures too, so I like to not necessarily get things I've seen. So a lot of times, even if a figure is awesome, if I've seen it at too many places, I won't buy it just because I know if somebody comes over, they will have seen it.
Why would you want to talk about it? Oh, I've seen that before. Conversation over. Cap ends.
So I also like to buy Cap ends.
Indeed.
I also like to get things that are either one of a kind or that there aren't very many of. So like actually my wife Sarah, knowing what I like, at the last comic convention that was by the same guy who runs this one but in Kansas City, Craig Klotz, he had a con out there and I hadn't worked that day, so I sent Sarah out and she bought herself a Dr. Doom figure, which is awesome. And you know your wife is cool when she buys herself a Dr. Doom figure. And she also got me a really awesome Marvel Zombies poster signed by the artist. So like, that's different. You know, you're not gonna see a whole lot of those. So that's the kind of stuff I like to get.
One of a kind things. He has a Ninja Turtles clock
that was made by somebody just made this thing. It's one of those wood grain clocks. Somebody took a poster and managed to fit it onto the wood and used whatever it is to use. I don't know anything about wood, but you know what I'm saying? You take the thing and you push it over and it goes on there. And anyway, it's a clock. And somebody had it. I guess they didn't want it anymore. They made it back in like '89, and they sold it at a yard sale for $5. So my sister bought it and gave it to me, and it's hanging up in my house.
Yeah, that about it. It's cool looking. Sometimes I'll buy things that I just find to be important, and it's so strange to me. Like Mac.
You decide. Okay, all right. That joke is over. So how often, like Cap? So how often? What is it? I don't know why I said it. What does it determine that it's important? What determines that it's important?
Like, it's important to comic book history.
Oh, sure.
Like,
kind of like trying to buy key issues.
Yeah. I bought Secret Wars because I thought that was something that I had read.
Well, that's a lot of why I get trades that I don't want to pay for the single issues of.
Yeah, I bought the Secret Wars trade, not the series.
Like, I make sure, because I mean, I like to get a lot of single issues, but I like to make sure I have the big major stories in trade when I can. I bought Watchmen in trade. I bought Kingdom Come. I bought you know, Hush. Not that that's necessarily important, but you know, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. And I say important things like
I should throw Killing Joke and Dark Knight Returns in there so that people don't say, Captain Logan, you have no idea what an important trade is.
Tales from the Crypt. I thought that was important. Major 1950s caused a whole lot of problems. So I figure it's important to look at some of that.
Well, Vince, we're all out of time. How do you collect? When you go to conventions, when you go to comic shops, what is it that you like to buy and why? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you have an idea for a video that we might make later on, leave that in the comments below. Also, we always appreciate your interesting ideas. And thanks a lot for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And we'll see you next time, like Geeks Not Nerds.
This is Batman's new toy. He can keep time.
Wow, that's amazing. I wonder how he ever had enough money to make that.
You could just wear a bat watch. Shut up,